The day the aliens came started like any other at Space Command. Captain Elaine Murphy sat at her desk reviewing reports when the alarm sounded. She jumped to her feet and rushed to the control room. "What do we have?" she asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Officer Greg Collins pointed at the main screen. "Unknown object approaching Earth orbit, Captain. It's not one of ours." Everyone in the room went silent. After decades of sending signals into space, hoping for a response, humanity had finally gotten one. "Send the welcome message on all frequencies," ordered Captain Murphy. She straightened her uniform and tried to look calm. This was the moment they had trained for. The large object slowed as it entered Earth orbit. It was unlike anything humans had built, smooth and silver, with strange blue lights pulsing along its hull. It was 3 times the size of Earth's largest space station. "Message sent, Captain," said Communications Officer Lisa Bennett. "They're responding with some kind of data packet." Scientists and code breakers worked quickly to understand the alien message. Within hours, they had decoded basic communication protocols. The visitors called themselves the Arborians, and their ship carried Ambassador's Relic of the Galactic Council, a federation of 247 spacefaring species. World leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. They decided Captain Murphy would lead the first face-to-face contact with the alien ambassador. A small shuttle was prepared to meet the Arborian ship in orbit. As the shuttle approached, Captain Murphy spoke to her nervous crew. "Remember your training. This is a peaceful mission. No weapons unless I give the order." The young officer Greg Collins nodded, but his hand stayed near his sidearm. He had been in Space Command for only 6 months, and nothing in his training had prepared him for actual aliens. The human shuttle moved closer to the massive alien ship. Suddenly, lights across the alien vessel began to pulse in patterns, and energy readings spiked. "Captain," shouted Collins, panic in his voice. "They're charging weapons systems." Captain Murphy checked her screens. "Hold position. Don't react. It could be." Before she could finish, Collins fired the shuttle's defense laser. The beam hit the alien ship's sensor array, causing a small explosion. "Collins, cease fire," Murphy shouted. "They were about to shoot us," Collins said, his face pale. The alien ship's lights flashed red. A voice came through the communication system, speaking broken English. "Human aggression detected. Contact terminated." Captain Murphy grabbed the communication controls. "Ambassador's Relic, this is Captain Murphy of Earth. This was a mistake. Please respond." No answer came. The alien ship moved away from Earth at incredible speed, then vanished in a flash of light. Back at Space Command, the mood was grim. General Howard Peters paced the conference room as world leaders appeared on screens around the table. "You're telling me," said the President of the United States, "that our first contact with aliens ended with us shooting at them?" Captain Murphy nodded. "Officer Collins misinterpreted their standard greeting protocol as weapons charging. By the time we realized the mistake, they were gone." Defense Minister Wu spoke from another screen. "If this Galactic Council has 247 species, we just made 247 new enemies. We need to prepare for all possibilities," General Peters said. "If they return, it might not be for friendly talks." Captain Murphy looked at the last image of the alien ship. "I don't think they'll attack immediately. From what we decoded, they'd value diplomacy. They'll probably discuss this incident with their council first. Then we have time to prepare," said General Peters. "I want all Earth defense systems at full alert. Any ship approaching Earth is to be considered potentially hostile." As the meeting continued, Captain Murphy stepped away to look out the window at the stars. In just one day, everything had changed. Humanity was not alone, but their first chance at peaceful contact had been ruined by fear and misunderstanding. On the other side of the galaxy, Ambassador Zerlik's ship raced toward the Galactic Council headquarters. The Council would need to convene immediately to discuss the human problem. Ambassador Zerlik stood before the Galactic Council, his forearms moving in the formal gestures of distress. The Grand Chamber held representatives from all 247 species of the Council. Floating platforms arranged in a huge circle allowed each delegate to see the others. "The humans fired upon my ship without warning," Zrelk said. "After centuries of watching their development, our first official contact ended with violence." The council leader, a tall being with skin like flowing water named Xortel, raised a hand for silence as whispers filled the chamber. "Show us what happened," Xortel ordered. A three-dimensional image appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed the human shuttle approaching, then firing when the Arborian ship began its standard greeting protocol. "Barbaric," shouted the Vexari delegate, a small creature with 6 eyes. "This proves humans are too dangerous to join galactic society. We must quarantine their entire system." "We should not judge too quickly," argued the Norcan representative, her fur changing color with her emotions. "This could be a misunderstanding. Our greeting might look like a weapon charging to a species that has never seen our technology." Meanwhile, on Mars colony, Dr. Alan Blackwood watched the council meeting through a secret device he had built. For years, he had studied the council without their knowledge. His small office was filled with notes about alien species and their customs. "No, no, no," he muttered, typing frantically on his computer. "They don't understand." Dr. Blackwood had learned the aliens' languages and protocols by intercepting their communications. He knew the Council often quarantined species they considered dangerous. He had to warn Earth. He sent an encrypted message to Earth. "First contact misunderstood. Aliens think we attacked on purpose. Galactic Council may decide Earth's fate within days. Need peaceful response immediately." Back in the council chamber, the Dreth delegate stood to speak. The Dreth were a military species with hard shells and sharp claws. "This human aggression cannot be tolerated," the Dreth said. "Their history is full of war. If we allow them to develop further, they could threaten us all. We should strike now, while they are still confined to their system." The chamber erupted in shouting. Some agreed with the Dreth, while others called for patience. On Earth, Major Sandra Kelly of Earth Intelligence received Dr. Blackwood's message. She had short red hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. After reading the message 3 times, she rushed to find General Peters. "Sir, we have a critical situation," she said, handing him the message. General Peters read it and frowned. "How reliable is this source?" "Dr. Blackwood has been stationed on Mars for 5 years. He's one of our best scientists," Major Kelly explained. "If he says there's a misunderstanding, I believe him. Even if he's right, it might be too late," General Peters said. "The President has ordered full military readiness. The Chinese and Russians have done the same. Nobody will back down now that we know aliens are real and potentially hostile." Major Kelly's phone buzzed with an alert. A new message from Dr. Blackwood. "Council sending diplomatic fleet to Earth for peaceful resolution. Estimated arrival 72 hours. She showed the message to General Peters, whose face grew pale. "A fleet, peaceful or not, Earth's governments will see this as an invasion force," he said. "I need to speak with the President immediately." Across Earth, military forces mobilized. Missile systems were aimed at the sky. Fighter pilots sat in their cockpits, ready for launch. Naval vessels moved into strategic positions. In the council chamber, the final vote was cast. The diplomatic fleet would depart immediately with representatives from 12 species. Their mission was to establish peaceful contact and assess if humans could someday join the council. "Remember," Hexortel told the chosen diplomats, "these humans are new to galactic society. They will be frightened and confused. Approach with care and patience." The Dreth delegate watched the diplomats leave, his claws clicking together. The human's violent response had played perfectly into his plans. Soon, conflict would begin, and the Dreth hegemony would benefit from the chaos. The leaders of Earth met in an underground bunker beneath Geneva. Maps and screens covered the walls, showing the positions of military forces around the world. For the first time in history, all nations agreed on one thing: Earth needed to stand together against the alien threat. "The alien fleet will arrive in 48 hours, General Peters said, pointing to a projection of Earth's orbit. "We need to be ready." Lieutenant Commander Paul Rodriguez stepped forward. He was in charge of the orbital defense platforms, weapons satellites that had been built to protect Earth from asteroids, but could now be used against alien ships. "My teams are positioning all platforms to create a defensive shield," Rodriguez explained. "If their ships enter our orbit, we can surround them with firepower." In a laboratory nearby, Dr. Olivia Grant worked with a team of scientists. They had been studying pieces of alien technology found in crashed saucers over the years. Now they raced to turn this knowledge into weapons. "The power systems are based on principles we barely understand," Dr. Grant told her team as they examined a glowing blue device. "But if we can replicate it, we might be able to match their energy weapons." Major Kelly entered the lab, looking worried. "Dr. Grant, we've intercepted more alien communications. They mention bringing a pacification device to Earth." "That sounds like a weapon," Dr. Grant said, pushing her glasses up. "Exactly what we thought," Major Kelly replied. "The President has ordered that we take no chances. When the alien fleet arrives, we will not answer their hails. Our forces will be ready to attack if they make any threatening moves." Meanwhile, in space, the Council diplomatic fleet approached the Sol system. 12 ships carried representatives from different alien species, led by Ambassador Zrelik. "We are entering human detection range," the ship's captain informed Zrelik, sending greeting messages on all frequencies. Zrelik nodded his head, all 4 eyes blinking in sequence, as was his custom when nervous. "Remember, these humans are new to interstellar contact. The pacification gift should help ease their fears." On the ship's lower deck, technicians prepared the pacification device, a beautiful crystal sphere that projected calming images and played soothing music. It was the Council's traditional first gift to new species. Back on Earth, Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez watched his screens as the alien fleet was detected. 12 ships approaching, sir," he reported to General Peters. "They're sending signals on all frequencies." "Do not respond," General Peters ordered. "Power up all weapons systems, but hold fire unless I command it." On screens around the world, people watched as the alien ships came closer to Earth. Fear and excitement gripped the planet. In his Mars office, Dr. Blackwood received a message from the Council ships. He translated it quickly and went pale. No, they're coming in peace," he shouted to his empty room. He sent an urgent message to Major Kelly. "The fleet is diplomatic. Pacification device is a gift, not a weapon. Stop any aggressive action." The message reached Earth, but too late. Earth's governments had already decided their course of action. Defense systems locked onto the approaching ships. Ambassador Zrelik stood on the bridge of his ship as they entered Earth orbit. "No response to our messages," his communications officer reported. "And their weapons systems are targeting us." "This is most unusual," Zrelik said. "In 2,000 years of first contacts, no species has ever refused to communicate." A junior officer approached with alarming news. "Ambassador, their orbital platforms are surrounding our fleet. Energy readings indicate they are preparing to fire." Zrelik's skin changed from blue to pale yellow, a sign of shock among his people. "Contact the Council immediately," he ordered. "The humans have taken a stance unprecedented in galactic history. They refuse all diplomacy and prepare for war instead." As the message raced back to the Galactic Council, Earth's military leaders watched the alien ships with suspicion. The standoff had begun, with both sides waiting for the other to make the first move. Diane Foster sat in her small apartment, surrounded by screens and papers. As one of Earth's top journalists, she had connections to sources inside the government. What she had learned about the alien standoff worried her. "This makes no sense," she said to herself, reviewing the information. Why would advanced aliens come all this way just to attack us? Her phone rang. It was an unknown number with a strange area code. "Hello," she answered cautiously. "Ms. Foster, this is Dr. Alan Blackwood calling from Mars Colony." The voice sounded desperate. "I don't have much time. Earth is making a terrible mistake." "Dr. Blackwood, how did you get this number?" "That doesn't matter. Listen carefully. I've been studying the Galactic Council for years. The alien fleet is diplomatic, not hostile. Their pacification device is a gift, not a weapon." Diane began taking notes quickly. "If that's true, why won't our government talk to them? Fear and misunderstanding. And someone is working to make things worse. I've detected unusual communication patterns between a species called the Dreth and unknown receivers on Earth." After the call ended, Diane began digging deeper. She hacked into classified government servers, a skill she never put on her resume. What she found confirmed Dr. Blackwood's story. Meanwhile, on the Galactic Council's central planet, representatives argued loudly about the human situation. "These humans are too unpredictable," Chief Diplomat Exortel of the Arturians said, waving his tentacles in frustration. "They shoot first, then refuse to talk. No species has ever behaved this way." "We should leave them alone," suggested another representative. "Let them develop for another century before trying again." "No," said the Dreth delegate, hiding his true intentions. "Humans must be dealt with now. Their aggressive nature makes them a future threat." Back on Earth, Intelligence Officer Richard Park worked late in a secure facility. He had been tasked with trying to decode alien communications. After weeks of work, he had made a breakthrough. "I've got it," he whispered, staring at his screen. He had found an encrypted channel used by aliens who seemed sympathetic to humans. Through this channel, he learned about the Dreth and their secret plans. Park picked up a secure phone to call Major Kelly. "Major, you need to see this. I think we're being played." At the same time, in a suburban home in Nebraska, Frank Pearson adjusted the dials on his ham radio equipment. As an amateur radio enthusiast, he had built the most powerful civilian radio setup in the state. Tonight, he was picking up strange signals. Suddenly, his radio crackled with an alien voice speaking broken English. "Hello, hello. Is human receiving? This is civilian ship Jory. We not military. We want friend." Frank nearly fell out of his chair. He hesitated, then pressed his microphone button. "This is Frank Pearson from Earth. I'm receiving you. You're really aliens." "Yes, we watching Earth many years. Very interesting. Why your military point weapons at diplomatic ships? This not normal." Frank talked with the alien for hours, learning about the council and the misunderstanding. At dawn, he called the only government number he had, a female emergency line. "You need to listen to me," he told the operator. "I've been talking to an alien all night. This is all a big mistake." As these separate threads of truth began to come together, the Dreth made their move. A Dreth warship, hidden from both human and council detection, launched an attack on an Earth outpost on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Alarms blared at Space Command as reports came in. "Europa base under attack," shouted an officer. "They report alien weapons fire." General Peters turned to Captain Murphy. "This proves their intentions. The diplomatic fleet was just a distraction." "Sir," said Major Kelly, rushing in with Richard Park, "we have evidence this attack isn't from the Council. It's a third party trying to start a war." But it was too late. Earth Defense Forces were already moving to respond, and the real conflict was about to begin. Captain Elaine Murphy led a fleet of 5 Earth ships toward Europa. They were the newest and fastest vessels humans had built, equipped with the weapons Dr. Grant had developed from alien technology. "All ships, maintain formation," Captain Murphy ordered. "We don't know what we're facing, but we will protect our people." The journey to Europa would take days for normal ships, but Dr. Grant's new engines got them there in hours. When they arrived, they found 3 alien vessels attacking the human base. "Those aren't Council diplomatic ships," Lieutenant Rodriguez said, checking the scans. "Different design completely." Captain Murphy narrowed her eyes. "Whoever they are, they fired first. Weapons ready. Protect the base at all costs." The Earth ships moved into attack position. The alien ships, seeing them approach, turned to face the new threat. "They're charging weapons," Rodriguez reported. "Fire," ordered Murphy. Earth's ships fired in perfect coordination. The attack surprised the aliens, who clearly didn't expect such organized resistance. One alien ship was hit badly and began to drift. "Again," Murphy ordered. "Target their weapon systems." Across the galaxy, in the Galactic Council chamber, representatives watched the battle through long-range sensors. Many stood in shock as the human ships moved with military precision that few Council species possessed. "How are they doing this?" asked an Arborian delegate. "Their technology should be primitive compared to Dreth warships." "It's not about technology," said an old Kelbrid scientist, his eyes fixed on the battle display. "Look at their tactics. They're fighting as one unit, adapting quickly, taking risks no Council species would consider." The Dreth representative remained silent, hiding his surprise. The humans were supposed to be easy targets. Back at the battle, Captain Murphy's ship took a direct hit. Alarms blared as the crew fought to keep systems online. "Shields down to 30%, Rodriguez reported. Murphy didn't hesitate. "Take us right at the lid ship. Get me within point-blank range." "Captain, that's too dangerous," her first officer protested. "They don't expect it," Murphy said. "That's our advantage. Do it now." The Earth ship accelerated directly toward the largest alien vessel. The move was so unexpected that the alien ship failed to adjust its weapons in time. "Fire everything," Murphy ordered when they were nearly touching the alien ship. The Earth vessel unleashed all its weapons at once. The alien ship's hull broke apart under the assault. The remaining alien ship, seeing this, turned and fled at high speed. The Council representatives watched in stunned silence as the battle ended. The humans had lost one ship, but had destroyed 2 Dreth warships and forced another to retreat. "In all my centuries," said Exortel, "I have never seen combat like this. These humans fight with desperation." The Kelbrid scientist nodded. "They believe they're fighting for their survival. That makes them more dangerous than you can imagine." The Council immediately called an emergency session. The Dreth representative was questioned about the unauthorized attack, but denied involvement. Meanwhile, footage of the battle spread through galactic information networks. Species across the galaxy watched humans fight with tactics that shocked even veteran military advisors. What impressed them most was how the humans worked together, sacrificing individual safety for group success. On Earth, Dr. Grant analyzed data from the battle. Her weapons had worked better than expected against the alien ships. "Their shields have a weakness we didn't anticipate," she told General Peters. "If we adjust our weapons to this frequency, we can be even more effective next time." General Peters nodded, but Major Kelly interrupted with new information. "Sir, multiple sources now confirm those ships were Dreth, not Council diplomats. And Richard Park has more evidence they're trying to trigger a war between us and the Council." General Peters frowned. "So we have a third party in this mess. But why would these Dreth want war?" In the Galactic Council chamber, the final vote was cast. Humans were officially classified as a Class 5 unpredictable species, the highest threat classification in Council records. No species had ever received this designation before. "We must approach with extreme caution," Sortel announced. "These humans have shown capabilities far beyond their technological level. They are unpredictable, resourceful, and apparently fearless in battle." The Council was freaking out, and the diplomatic crisis had just begun. 2 weeks after the battle at Europa, the Galactic Council tried again to contact Earth. They sent smaller ships with clear peace markings. Earth shot warning blasts near them but didn't hit any vessels. The alien ships left quickly. 3 days later, the Council sent robotic probes carrying peace messages in all human languages. Earth's defense systems destroyed them before they entered the atmosphere. In the Council chamber, Chief Mediator Vrextil was losing patience. He had 4 arms and skin that changed color with his mood. Right now, he was bright orange with frustration. "This is unprecedented," he told the Council. "Humans have refused more diplomatic attempts than any species in our history. 17 contact missions, all rejected." The Kelbrid scientist raised a thin hand. "Perhaps we are approaching this incorrectly. Humans do not think like us." "Clearly," Vrextil said. "No rational species refuses to talk." On Earth, Major Kelly and Richard Park met with General Peters in a secure room. They had gathered all evidence of the Dreth deception. "The Dreth want war between us and the Council," Park explained, showing intercepted messages. "They're a military species who would benefit from the conflict." Major Kelly added, "And Dr. Blackwood confirms they have a history of manipulating other species." General Peters sighed. "Even if you're right, Earth's governments won't back down now. Too much fear has spread among our people." In a lab at MIT, Dr. Helen West worked secretly with data Dr. Blackwood had sent from Mars. Dr. West was an expert in alien biology and believed communication was still possible. "The Council species think differently than we do," she explained to her small team. "They see our military preparation as primitive aggression, while we see their diplomatic approaches as possible traps." She had made contact with the Kelbrid, a scientific species in the Council. Unlike other aliens, they were fascinated by human unpredictability and saw it as valuable, not frightening. "If we can build a coalition of humans and aliens who understand the misunderstanding, we might stop this before it gets worse," Dr. West said. Meanwhile, both Earth and Council military forces continued to build up. Earth launched new defense satellites. The Council positioned more ships near the solar system. Journalist Diane Foster worked with Dr. Blackwood to broadcast the truth through underground channels. Some people listened, but most were too afraid to believe that the whole conflict was a misunderstanding. On the 4th week, the Council made its most dramatic attempt yet. They sent a massive ship carrying representatives from all 247 species. It stopped just beyond the moon and broadcast on all frequencies. "People of Earth," the message began, "we seek peaceful contact. We regret the misunderstandings that have occurred. Please respond." In the White House Situation Room, the President and his advisors watched the message repeat in many languages. "This could be genuine," said an advisor. "But it could also be a trick to get us to lower our defenses. We can't risk it." The President decided. "Maintain radio silence." Earth's ships moved into defensive positions around the planet. The alien vessel waited for 3 days, continuing to broadcast peace messages. When no response came, it finally left. In the Council chamber, the mood was somber. "It's official," Vrextil announced. "Humans have entered the diplomatic void, a state where no communication is possible. This has happened only twice before in our history, both times with species that destroyed themselves shortly after." The Kelbrid scientist spoke up. "I disagree. Humans aren't like those species. They're communicating very clearly, just not with words. Their silence tells us they will defend themselves at all costs. They're showing strength, not instability." A small group of Council species, led by the Kelbrid, formed a coalition that saw value in human unpredictability. They began working secretly with Dr. West and her team. On Earth, Captain Murphy prepared for her next mission. Intelligence suggested the Dreth were planning something big, possibly an attack that would force both sides into full war. "We need to expose the Dreth before it's too late," she told her crew, "even if it means disobeying orders." The diplomatic void had become legendary across galactic society. No species had ever refused the Council so completely. Some were terrified by human stubbornness, but others were impressed. The term pulling a human began to spread among younger aliens, meaning to refuse standard procedures and somehow succeed anyway. 2 months after first contact, a massive fleet of council ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. 50 vessels of different sizes and designs moved slowly toward Earth. This was no diplomatic mission. It looked like an invasion force. Earth's unified defense forces went on highest alert. Admiral George Martinez, who had once commanded naval forces before moving to Space Command, took charge of the operation. All ships to battle stations, he ordered from the command center beneath Geneva. This is what we've prepared for. Around the world, missile systems aimed at the sky. Fighter pilots sat in their cockpits. Every satellite weapon was ready to fire. Captain Murphy's ship joined the defensive line around Earth. She knew this might be humanity's last stand, but she also knew something the other commanders didn't. This conflict was built on lies. In her private cabin, she met with Diane Foster, Dr. West, and Richard Park via secure video link. "We have proof the Dreth engineered this whole situation," Park said. "But no one will listen while we're facing an invasion. Then we need to show everyone the truth at once," Foster replied. "I can broadcast on all channels, but I need access to the main communication array." Captain Murphy nodded. "I can get you that access, but we need to move fast." On the lead council ship, Ambassador Zerlich prepared to deliver the council's final message to Earth. With him stood representatives from 12 major species. "We have one last chance for peace," he told them. "If humans reject this offer, the council has authorized defensive measures." What none of them knew was that a Dreth warship had secretly joined their fleet. It carried special weapons designed to trigger Earth's defense systems. As the council fleet approached Earth's orbit, Admiral Martinez watched them closely. "They stopped just outside our defense perimeter," an officer reported. "They're broadcasting a message." "Let's hear it," Martinez ordered. The message began playing. "People of Earth, this is your final opportunity to establish peaceful relations with the Galactic Council. We have no hostile intentions. Please respond within 1 Earth hour, or we will be forced to consider you a permanent threat to galactic peace." Martinez looked at his advisors. "Opinions could be genuine," one said, "but their fleet formation suggests combat readiness." "I don't trust them," said another. "Why bring so many ships for peace?" Meanwhile, Captain Murphy's ship moved closer to the main communication satellite. Foster and her team prepared to broadcast their evidence about the Dreth deception. "We're in position," Murphy told Foster over the secure channel. "Start your broadcast in 5 minutes. I'll make sure you have access." Just as they prepared to reveal the truth, alarms blared through all Earth's defense systems. "Energy spike from one of the alien ships," shouted an officer in Martinez's command center. "They're charging weapons." "Which ship?" Martinez demanded. "The one on the outer edge of their formation. Different design from the others." Martinez had seconds to decide. "Target that ship only. Prepare to fire." Across Earth's defense grid, weapons locked onto the Dreth vessel that had broken formation. The Dreth ship fired a single shot toward Earth. "They fired," shouted the officer. "Impact trajectory shows it's heading for North America. All systems, fire on that ship now," Martinez ordered. Earth's defense forces responded with overwhelming firepower. Hundreds of missiles and energy weapons targeted the Dreth ship, destroying it completely. The other council ships didn't move, seemingly confused by what had happened. In the chaos, Foster began her broadcast. On screens across Earth and in the council fleet, evidence of the Dreth deception played for all to see. Intercepted communications, analysis from Dr. Blackwood, and proof that the Dreth had engineered the Europa attack. "This entire conflict has been manipulated by the Dreth hegemony," Foster's voice explained. "They want war between humans and the Council for their own benefit." On the Council flagship, Ambassador Zerlich watched in shock. "The Dreth ship fired without authorization," he said, "and these humans knew it was coming. The council representatives looked at each other as they realized how thoroughly they had been manipulated. On Earth, Admiral Martinez received new information through Foster's broadcast. "Hold all fire," he ordered. "Target only Dreth vessels if they appear." For the first time since first contact, humans and the council faced each other with the beginnings of understanding. The standoff had reached its breaking point. 3 days after the failed Dreth attack, something remarkable happened. A single shuttle left the council flagship and moved slowly toward Earth. It carried ambassadors relic and representatives from 5 major council species. At the same time, a human shuttle left Earth. Captain Murphy piloted it herself, with Dr. West, Major Kelly, and Admiral Martinez on board. The 2 small ships met in the space between Earth and the Moon. For the first time, humans and council representatives faced each other in person without firing weapons. "We thank you for agreeing to meet," Ambassador Zerlich said, his 4 arms making formal greeting gestures. "We should have done this sooner," Admiral Martinez replied. Much confusion could have been avoided. For 6 hours, they talked. The council representatives explained their customs and history. The humans described their fears and reasons for their defensive stance. "In our culture, approaching with a large fleet is a sign of respect," Zrelk explained. "We didn't realize you would see it as threatening. And in our history, unknown visitors often meant conquest." Dr. West told them, "We have learned to be cautious." When they returned to their respective sides, real communication had finally begun. 1 week later, Earth leaders sent a formal message to the Galactic Council. It wasn't an apology or a surrender. It was an invitation to negotiate terms for Earth joining the Council, but with conditions. The Council had never received such a message before. New species always begged to join, grateful for the protection and technology the Council offered. Humans were demanding special treatment. Unprecedented, Thortel told the Council chamber. They want to maintain independent military forces. They want access to all Council technology, but refuse to share certain Earth developments. They want a full Council seat immediately, not after the standard 50-year probation period. The Council debated for days. Some members were outraged by human demands. Others were impressed by their boldness. "We should reject these terms," said the Vexari representative. "No species gets special treatment." The Kelbrid scientists disagreed. Humans are unlike any species we've encountered. Their unpredictability could be valuable to us. Meanwhile, Captain Murphy and Ambassador Zerlich met again, this time on Earth. They walked through a park in Geneva, drawing curious stares from humans nearby. "I still don't understand why you fired on our ship during first contact," Zrelk said. Murphy smiled. "Officer Collins thought your greeting protocol was a weapons charge." He panicked. "Such a small mistake leading to such big problems," Zrelk said, his skin rippling with amusement colors. "That's very human," Murphy replied. "Small mistakes, big consequences." After a month of negotiations, the Council made its decision. Earth would join the Galactic Council with special status. Humans would maintain their military independence, but would coordinate with Council forces. The Dreth would be sanctioned for their deception. On the day of the formal ceremony, Dr. Helen West stood before the full Council as Earth's first official ambassador. "We come to you not as supplicants, but as partners," she told the 247 species representatives. "We bring our creativity, our determination, and yes, our unpredictability." Across the galaxy, species watched the ceremony with mixed feelings. Many feared these strange humans who had refused all standard diplomatic procedures, yet somehow succeeded in getting everything they wanted. The term human diplomacy entered the galactic vocabulary, meaning to ignore all rules yet achieve impossible results. 6 months later, Dr. West established the first human embassy on the Council's capital world. Above its entrance hung a sign in multiple languages, "Diplomacy optional." Inside the embassy, Captain Murphy met with Ambassador Zerlich again. They had become unlikely friends, representatives of 2 very different approaches to the universe. The Council is still freaking out about humans, Zrelk admitted. Your people keep ignoring protocols that have existed for thousands of years. Murphy laughed. That's our specialty. We don't follow the rules. We change them. That's what terrifies everyone, Zrelk said, his skin showing amused colors. And what makes you so valuable to us? As the embassy filled with visitors from across the galaxy, humans stepped onto the galactic stage in their own unique way, refusing standard diplomacy, but creating something new in its place. Earth had gone from an isolated world to a major galactic power in less than a year, all because humans had stubbornly refused to follow anyone else's rules. The galaxy would never be the same.